time for breakfast cereal, or is it after you work out?
So I do most of my workouts at night time.
Yeah.
And so in terms of like having the right foods afterwards, but
Yes.
I still have this thing in the back of my head that I shouldn't be eating heaps of carbs and sugar just before I go to bed.
Yeah.
So how do I get that balance right?
So it's a really common question. So thank you for the question. Okay. So, and the balance is this: where most go astray is that there tends to be too many carbohydrates coming in earlier in the day, so that you get to your workout and you feel like, well, I don't want to have any more. I've already been eating carbohydrate throughout the day, so why should I put some on? And of course then there's that notion that we shouldn't have too much food before we go to bed because we're just going to sit there. Now there's some substance in that one. So ideally you don't want to have dinner and then go to bed straight away. Because if you're busy digesting a large meal, it will impair your sleep, at least initially. But the thing is that if you work out, so what type of workout actually?
So it's like normally quite high intensity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. You need to have carbohydrate. Now I'm not suggesting cereal, but so your meal, have you already got dinner prepared after that, or you come and make it?
Well, I travel, so it takes me about 20 minutes to get home. So
Yes.
I normally try and have something in the car that I'll eat on the way home.
Right.
So that's like a 20-minute drive. So I might have like a banana and some nuts, and then I'll get home and I'll just be like, oh my god, what can I eat? I've got to get it so fast.
Yeah.
So now I've kind of tried to change my thinking and have like my afternoon tea as a bigger kind of meal, and then switch the after workout to more of a snack. I don't know if that's right, but that's just how I figure it out.
Yeah. And this is something which I've worked with some clients before, and so it's quite common in that is you really don't want to be having a large meal at late at night, because it just doesn't sit right.
So when you say late, what?
Yeah. Well, so yeah. What actually? It's a good point. What is the timing?
So the workout's either 6 or 7. So 7 o'clock I might be home. At 7 o'clock workout I might be home at 8:30.
Yeah. So I'm not. So what time do you go to bed?
Well, I try to go to bed about 9:30, 10, but
Right. Okay. So an hour, having dinner an hour before bedtime is fine, and I don't think that's getting really late. So I would. The other thing that's thrown in the mix here is that there's also the whole thing of not really feeling like you can eat a lot. So often one of the challenges around exercise is that your appetite's suppressed, and you just in that time of night you just don't want to be digesting a lot of food. My recommendation actually is to see if you can keep your afternoon snack at a reasonable energy point rather than increase it too much, and so really still allow more food coming in after. One option that can help you is that again you go to a liquid replacement immediately after, which is ideal because you're in the car and you can be drinking when you're in the car. That's all right. You can still. Yeah, it's true. Thank you. For the record there, yes, just clarify that drinking, you can drink non-alcoholic beverages when you're in the car. And that what this will do is two things: fast track your recovery, and then mean that you don't have to have as much food when you get home because you've already ingested a reasonable amount of energy.
So what's having a shake?
Like a shake.
What's an okay amount of food to eat? Because that to me would be like, I'm full.
You're full.
Yeah.
And so something like this here would actually, I wouldn't say it'd be completely cover your energy needs, but it would go a long way towards that. So what else would you need? Simply yogurt, half a banana to a full banana. Maybe that again, I'm not sure of where your total energy is at. Or in other words, some fruit. Could be kiwi fruit, could be feijoa that's going good at the moment. Some berries, raspberries would be beautiful. And then of course on top of that, some nuts and seeds or LSA. So you just finish off with a nice, which is a typical evening snack, and that you might find actually works really well. It's not too challenging on the gut, and you've actually got yourself some really good quality recovery nutrition there. That's easy,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So that's the regime I would work with.
Okay.
And so, yeah, you're working out, did you say, about 7 o'clock?
Whether it's 6 or 7, yeah.
Okay. So before that, just make sure that you've had something that gives you, you know, a good. So potentially in that afternoon snack, you could boost it just a little bit. When I say a little bit, you could possibly have even something that's more like around a salad that's got more nutrient rich in it. I mean, what do you typically have in that afternoon slot?
I'd probably be having the yogurt, or I'd be having like cottage cheese and veggie sticks and crackers or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those are fine. You can have some veggie sticks, carrot sticks.
I've been making like egg muffins with chicken in them, so it's just like pretty much a protein.
Yes.
It's like egg in a muffin tin with chicken in the bottom of it.
Right. That's awesome. My wife actually did something similar. She makes some egg with bacon wrapped around it, little egg and bacon muffins, which is a possibility.
A couple of eggs.
Yeah. So that's good. That could work.
What is that?
Yes. It's doable, definitely. It's cool. This just shows you guys, this is my first PhD study. If you have lowered glycogen when you finish a workout and you have appropriate carbohydrate, this is the science, just to show you that it's not just a kind of a, oh, this sounds like a good idea. The science here is look at the replenishment in the first 3 hours. That's why I come up with the acute recovery phase in that time frame, because when you look at glycogen replenishment, this is where all the action is here. And then it slows down here, and then you get 18 hours pretty much back to full restoration. So resistance training is very similar, okay? Pretty much, resistance training is similar to endurance, but definitely having protein is important. Protein and carbohydrate. With endurance, you can probably get away with a sports drink after exercise, but with resistance work to support your muscle adaptation, protein's critical. Of the two, if you had a choice, protein is key after lifting, resistance work, because otherwise you're going to get this breakdown. Now, the other thing is there is a plateau, because of course it's a lot asked, well, hey, what about if I have extra protein? Well, it's not. There is a point after which additional protein doesn't give you any greater benefit in terms of muscle recovery. What that's illustrating.
So sorry, this is a really dumb question, I know, but
Sure.
yogurt, is that a protein or a carb?
Yogurt. Yeah, that's right. Yogurt is a protein food, depending on what type of yogurt.
So if I'm talking Greek.
Greek is definitely. So remember we talked about that your Greek yogurt, even though it's really favourable, is technically a carb food, but we call it a protein food because the ratios are very, very similar.
So we could have that after resistance training, right? Because last night
Yes.
I had that with LSA and frozen blueberries.
Yes, you could. You could, definitely.
You
That's
have
it.
to go for the light, can you take the full fat?
You can take the full fat. You can do that. I would just recommend, if you really are looking to emphasise your body fat reduction, body weight reduction, just make every little shift in energy intake that you can. So that would mean go for the light. Okay. But it's not really. It's one of those things, you know. Every you might think, well, it's not much, but let's say you're having yogurt every day, and you do that for months, and that not all much every day for months actually amounts to quite a bit. You know what I mean? And so that's where you might think of it's the slight edge. The slight edge is just doing something that most people don't, just a little bit different, and you're going to get there. You're going to have the success. All right, team. So we're going to wind up now. The maintenance phase is what we already know about. It's the NutriFit 5. That's what you do after the acute recovery. Here's this funnel diagram I talked about. Before you start whatever you're doing, you're running or you're cycling. This is the time in here, guys, where the 2 hours before, you don't really ideally want to be eating a lot of solid food, certainly not an hour before. So the amount of food just tapers down. The worst thing you can do is put food into your gut and then it's like, oh no, it's in there, now what do I do? Well, not much. Now, if you what's that? Because you can't just open the stomach up, can you, and go, hey, that wasn't a good idea. I'll just rip that muesli bar out. Which I have felt like doing once before, tried a mountain bike event, and I completely stuffed it up. And had a muesli bar and it sat in my gut literally like that, and sat there the whole time, and it didn't go away, and I got dehydrated. It's terrible. But if you get in your at the event, and you're half an hour before, you're very hungry, you can always have a little bit of sports drink or some glucose, just to give you. If in doubt, leave it out. As far as food goes, and use fluids. Okay, remember that. So the bottom line is, there's no benefit from ingesting carbohydrate immediately before. The mindset we need to adopt is making sure that we refuel, we have our recovery nutrition, and that you need to really, and not just athletes, but those who are active need to personalise according to your situation. So here it is. Here's the final wrap up. Okay. Here's the wrap, guys. This is bringing it together. The 3 phases together with the NutriFit 5. Okay. So here is 2 scenarios: a breakfast exercise day and a dinner exercise. Of course, this doesn't include a non-exercise day, because we're obviously in a non-exercise we don't have these different phases. So if we've worked out in the morning, before breakfast, early, then